Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Throw RA 437893, posted to r/TrueOffMyChest June 26th, 2024. New update. 1 year later. My husband's open marriage suggestion backfired on him. Original post June 26, 2024. My husband, Leo, 34 male, and I, 30 female, have been together for 7 years, married for 4 of them. We don't have any kids, and we don't intend to. 2 years ago, Leo asked me for an open marriage. I was devastated at the time. I couldn't understand why he didn't just want me. I couldn't even comprehend the idea of sharing him either. He gave me the same song and dance a lot of men give their spouses, swore up and down that he loved me. I just wasn't fulfilling his needs. He needed more than what I could give. It was just to spice up our life. It was just sex, etc., etc. I did ask if there was someone else. He said no. To this day, I'm still not sure if I believe him, but at the time, I was angry and hurt and said no. He pestered me to change my mind for a week before giving me an ultimatum. Open marriage or divorce. I chose the open marriage. I just couldn't bear the thought of him leaving me at the time. We have rules. We can't bring any partners home. We have to get tested for STD every 3 months. 1 weekend out of the month must be left free for us time. Any money we spend on/with our partners must come from our personal accounts. I didn't partake in the open marriage myself for the first 3 months. Leo obviously did right away. He seemed to be gone or out late almost all the time, but he always acted so happy and loving towards me while I felt like I was dying inside. It killed me to think he was sleeping with other women, and I felt so lonely and unattractive and not good enough. I told my sister, Katie, 26 female, and a few close friends everything. Katie told me to just play his game and be a part of the open marriage too. If he can sleep around, so could I. I honestly didn't have much confidence in myself at the time. I'm a bit overweight and I've never considered myself conventionally pretty. I was afraid this would just humiliate me further. Katie and my best friend Jessie, 30 female, set up my online dating profiles for me. I got so many matches that it was overwhelming. When I told Leo, he was surprised but told me to do whatever I thought was best. Jessie helped me choose my first date. I actually had a great time. He didn't pressure me for sex and took me out for drinks and dinner. We did have sex eventually, but it was all just casual, and we didn't see each other after a couple of months of casual dating. The first guy really made me feel more confident in myself, so I kept going on dates with men. A lot of them wanted to treat me, so I didn't have to spend much of my own money. Not only that, but some of the men have given me the best sex I've ever had in my life. Almost like the kind of sex you read in romance novels. It's been amazing. I'm currently seeing 2 different men alongside Leo. One, Mark 38 male, is more of a steady boyfriend I've been with for about 6 months, and the one, Steven, 25 male, is very casual, mostly just hanging out and sex. They know about my marriage/other relationships and are fine with it. My husband has not been so lucky. In the beginning, he definitely was. He was always out and about and didn't seem to care, even when I started dating too. But now he just complains a lot and hasn't been going out much. He whines about how he's usually the one spending money. A lot of the women he tries to be with want an emotional connection before sex. He often wants to be with younger women, but they want younger men. He's also been upset that I go out with random guys so often while he's home alone all the time. He hasn't asked to close the marriage yet, but I feel like he will soon. He keeps saying he misses us and wants to spend more time together. He tried to initiate sex a lot more too. He wants to go on dates and go on vacations and all that stuff more and more, and he gets upset when I tell him I can't because I've already scheduled to do stuff with my partners. Mostly Mark. Honestly, I don't think I love Leo anymore. I don't care about him. Wait, that's not what that says at all. On a side note, I've considered in the outro after the Gamer Subs plug beginning to collect my bloopers and outtakes and just put them all there. Let me know if that's something you guys would want to hear. Anyways, honestly, I don't think I love Leo anymore. I care about him, but I just don't love him. I'm not saying I love Mark or Steven, but I honestly feel closer to Mark nowadays than I do Leo. Mark makes me feel comfortable and safe, and I love spending time with him more than my own husband. Steven is funny and sweet and really good at sex. Katie and Jesse have been wanting me to divorce for a year now, but I was afraid of hurting him and thought I still loved him, but I think my love for him died when he asked for this open marriage in the first place. Seeing him get all pissy about it now just because he's not benefiting from it is also a turnoff for me too. But I don't know if divorce is the best option. I still care about him, and I still don't want to hurt him. Maybe if he finally asks to close the marriage, we can talk about it then. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Divorce. You're happier without him. He would only want to close the marriage because he can't get laid, not that he only loves you. OP responds, we've just been together for so long that the idea of him not being there feels weird, which sounds stupid since I have 2 other partners, so it's not like I'll be lonely, but Leo was a part of my life for so long that for him to not be there just doesn't feel right. But you're probably right. OP on her husband dismissing her feelings regarding the open marriage. OP, I really do think Leo loves me, in his own way, even when he was more active in the open marriage. He still made time for me, and still did a lot with him/for me, but you're probably right on the divorce. Commenter 2. Part of the issue is the main relationship is supposed to be the important one, so the whole 1 week a month for us time wasn't enough. OP responds, I actually did argue that in the beginning, but he insisted that he needed to keep his weekends free. He did spend a lot of time at home during the weekdays, so in his mind, that made up for it. Commenter 3. What if he finds evidence of your open marriage and frames you as a cheater and then brings you to the cleaners? At this point, I wouldn't trust Leo. What you're experiencing is normalcy. You're used to his presence in your life, but how long are you going to live like this? OP responds, Jesse had the same train of thought of you and actually took screenshots of his dating profiles during the beginning of the open marriage. She also told me to save screenshots of any texts we had about the open marriage. I don't think Leo would do that, but I also didn't think he'd ever ask for an open marriage, so what do I know? I'd actually be really curious for input in the comments from people who are in polyamorous relationships and how they navigate these kind of steps, because my understanding is you kind of have to be wired for an open relationship for it to work properly, and you still need to prioritize your number one. And it sounds like that Leo just didn't do that initially and left OP hanging out dry and ended up finding that connection elsewhere. Update 1, July 3rd, 2024, 1 week later. Hi everyone, I got so many comments and messages on my last post, which got deleted for some reason, and I was a bit overwhelmed. Especially when a lot of you kept saying the same thing. Divorce, divorce, divorce. But the thing is, I think a part of me does still love my husband. I know in my last post that I didn't think I loved him anymore, but I can't just forget about the things I do love. I love when he sings in the shower. I love when he laughs so hard he snorts. I love when he kisses my forehead when I've had a bad day. I love when he holds my hand when we watch TV together. Leo has done a lot of shitty things, but he really isn't the big asshole people think. Maybe that was my fault. But even if I do still love him, I'm not in love with him anymore. I don't think I have been for a while. I care about him. A part of me does still love him, but you all were right. I should have just divorced him when he gave me that ultimatum in the first place. This past Saturday, we had the big talk. I initiated it, but he didn't seem too surprised. I just told him that I noticed he didn't seem to like me going out with Mark or Steven and asked if there was a problem. He said there was, but he didn't ask me to close the marriage. He just asked me if I still loved him. I said something like, not like I used to, and he broke down crying, which made me cry. I guess he had known for a while that I wasn't in love anymore, but he had hoped he could win me back if he funneled all of his energy into me. I was honest and told him that during those first 3 months of our open marriage, I think my love for him died and I just couldn't get it back. I did tell him that I still cared about him and that I did love him, but it's not the same as it was. He asked if I love Mark or Steven, and I said no. I like being with them and I care about them a lot, but I can't say I'm in love with either of them. I also finally asked him why he wanted the open marriage in the first place. A lot of you in the comments said he already had someone lined up, and you were right. He had someone at work he was interested in, and she wanted him too. The open marriage was just to get permission. He honestly never expected me to also get my own partners because of how unconfident I was, but he didn't want to stop me either because he thought nothing would come of it. He didn't really like me seeing other men, but he knew it wouldn't have been fair to tell me no when I gave him permission first. I guess Mark and Steven made him insecure because I was spending so much time with them on a regular basis. The open marriage was just sex on the side for him. He only did hookups, and they never lasted long. He genuinely always just loved only me. But he thought I was falling in love with my partners and he was losing me and wanted to win me back. We cried a lot and talked more. We've decided to get a divorce. Since the house is in his name, I'm going to move out and live with Katie for a while. He told me I didn't have to, and I could stay until the divorce was finalized, but I just can't. It's too hard to even look at him sometimes. I don't know how to feel, to be honest. I thought I would be relieved or sad, but I'm just tired. I wish I could have been like you all wanted me to be, clapping back or being sarcastic and snarky or rubbing it in his face, but I don't feel like I've won anything. I just feel lost. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I'm wondering if that maybe the other woman ended it so now he was back to what he was comfortable with. His wife. He went and had his fun, and when that died out, he was not left with a wife waiting for him at home. OP responds, he and his coworker were only sleeping together for maybe a month. She fulfilled his kinks that I never liked indulging in. That's why he was with most of his partners, because I wasn't interested in his kinks. Commenter 2. He stepped out of his marriage first and tried to have his cake and eat it too. The thing with open marriages is that you can never count on how emotions will change. Sex is a very intimate action and many people will develop emotional connections. Those connections come at a price. He placed a bet and he lost. At least he's man enough to acknowledge it and own up to it. There's no easy answer, OP. I wish you healing. OP responds, thank you. Leo just thought the open marriage would be a way for him to get all of his kinks he couldn't do with me because I wasn't into it. He knew how unconfident I was, which wasn't because of him. A lot of people seem to think that he eroded my self-esteem, but he didn't. We can thank my mother for that, but that's a whole other can of worms. So he never expected me to partake in the open marriage either. Commenter 3. Quote, so he never expected me to partake in the open marriage either. End quote. So basically, while he asked for a mutually open marriage, he expected it to be only his side open, and then got hurt that reality didn't meet his expectations. OP responds, Leo admitted that he did only expect his side to be open. He was never going to stop me from opening my side, but like I said, he didn't think I would. To be honest, I don't think I would have either if it wasn't for Jesse and Katie pushing me and making profiles for me. Update 2, September 2nd, 2024. 2 months later from the previous update. Hey, it's been a while. It feels like both a lot and nothing has happened. I still have a lot of feelings, but I'm also just really tired. Leo and I are still in the middle of our divorce. It's been as amicable as a divorce can be. Since we mutually agreed to it and we had a prenup, it's been pretty easy splitting everything else 50-50. My lawyer says I should be divorced by the end of the year. Leo is insistent on giving me alimony, but I'm not really interested. Thanks to a lot of people making me think about Leo's explanation for the open marriage, I did approach him about it again and asked him to be 100% honest with me about that girl from work. He admitted there was more to it than he had admitted. This is what he explained to me, and I have decided to believe him. Even if he's lying, it doesn't really matter anymore since we're getting divorced. I also just have little energy to care about the details at this point. According to him, this is the timeline. He was posting on Reddit about his kinks for advice and such, which I did know about beforehand. He was getting messages from this one user, and they just kept talking back and forth. He mentions my name to the user in a conversation, which he let me read. During his lunch break, his coworker, I'll call her Mary, approaches him and asks if he uses Reddit and asks about his handle. He confirms, and then Mary tells her she's the user he's been talking to. They start talking more and more in real life as friends and eventually start talking through Instagram. He also showed me these conversations. The conversations were mostly just memes and jokes with occasional flirt/mentions of kinks. At one point, she says it's too bad he's not single. This is when he decides to demand the open marriage because Mary was clearly into him and into the same kinks, and she could sexually satisfy him since I was unable to. That's how he basically said it, anyway. Truth be told, we did have some bed difficulties before the open marriage was brought up. I'm very vanilla, and he discovered his new kinks after we were married. I tried them all for him, but I just couldn't get into it. And he didn't like seeing me struggle, so he didn't try to bring them into the bedroom again after it was obvious I didn't like it. So we did have sexual compatibility issues. Maybe we were doomed to fail even without the open marriage ultimatum. Our families, outside of my sister, were shocked when we told everyone we were getting a divorce. They always thought we were so happy and in love. My mom blames me, which I expected, but it still hurts. They don't know about the open marriage, and Leo and I plan to keep it that way. I think he's ashamed to tell them. I am too, if I'm being honest. I really thought Leo was the love of my life. He was my first for almost everything. I said we were together for 7 years, but we were friends since college. I've known him for nearly 12 years, and we're about to become strangers soon. I still mourn my marriage even though Katie and Jesse keep telling me this is for the best. They're both definitely thrilled. They don't hide it, but they also know this has been a weird time for me. I just don't know how to feel. I thought I would feel free or relieved or heartbroken or something. But I just feel weird. Like I lost a part of myself and I don't know how to get it back. I'm still living with Katie, but I'll be moving out soon. I found a 1-bedroom apartment that's near Jesse, so I won't be completely alone. Mark offered to let me move in with him, but I declined. Honestly, we're kind of on standby. He knows I'm having a hard time processing my feelings about my husband and the end of my marriage. I think he wants us to be official, but I don't know. I really do like Mark, and I don't want to lose him, but I feel like I need to figure myself out first. As for Steven, we ended our relationship at the beginning of August. He got a job offer in another state and took it. Even though it was casual, I did cry a little. Steven is a great guy. Whenever he does decide to settle down into something serious, the woman who gets him will be a lucky one. We've been texting here and there, but it's mostly just sending each other TikToks and polite, "Hope you're doing well," messages. Some people asked me if I wanted to go back to monogamy. Even after experimenting and clearly getting into this poly relationship I had going on, and the answer is yes, I do. Even though Mark and Steven were great, I met plenty of great guys during my open marriage, I don't know if I've really been happy with myself for my choices. I also think I felt guilty a lot too, like I was somehow cheating on Leo, Mark, and Steven even though it was all consensual. Polyamory and open relationships may work for some people, but it's really just not for me. Jesse says I need to get a therapist. I've tried looking, but finding a therapist that's both available and seems like a good fit is a pain. Hopefully I can find one by the time the divorce is settled. I also want to figure out what to do about Mark on my own. I don't want to lead him on and give him false hope. Maybe we should take a break, or maybe I should tell him to just break up with me. He should find his own happiness without worrying about me. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. You're numb. It happens when you lose your partner and you're grieving and under a great deal of stress. I think Reddit as a whole takes divorce really blithely? What the fuck is that word? In a way that shows casual and cheerful indifference, considered to be callous or improper. I got the pronunciation right too. Hell yeah. It's a new word that's going in my lexicon. I think Reddit as a whole takes divorce really blithely, but I read once that divorce is one of the most stressful life events right after death of a loved one. And I'm slightly curious. You say your family is shocked that you're divorcing because you seem so in love, but the fact that your friends are delighted you're leaving your husband tells me they've witnessed some not so great relationship dynamics. OP responds, Katie and Jesse were the only ones I told about the open marriage, so they're glad it finally ended in divorce. None of my other friends or family members know. Commenter 2. I've read all your posts, and I don't know why you're still protecting your ex by not telling people what he bullied you into doing. He had the girl all picked out and wanted your approval so he could cheat. Tell the damn world, I would. You have nothing to be ashamed about. Don't let your mother put the blame on you. You need a therapist who will help you build your self-esteem. OP responds, I just feel embarrassed I let it get to this point, I guess. I probably should have just gone with the divorce when the ultimatum was first issued. Commenter 3. I'm glad you're healing. It sounds like Mark wants more than you can give him right now. Focus on healing and finding out who you are outside of this marriage. It's sad that your soon-to-be ex ruined a loving marriage for kink sex. I'm glad you're divorcing. You deserve better. Definitely get therapy. It'll help you navigate the next part of your life. So, in my personal opinion, when it comes to this, just because of how things got laid out, if anyone goes to OP afterwards and tries to put the blame of any of the divorce actions onto OP, I would be upfront as to why the divorce happened, especially if they're putting undue blame onto you. Update 3. January 18th, 2025, 4.5 months later. Hey everyone! Hope you all had happy holidays and a good new year. This post is just sort of a rambling update. It was honestly thanks to you internet strangers on top of Katie and Jesse and my therapist that I'm doing much better than I had last year, so I felt I owed you all a life update. Firstly, it's official. Leo and I are divorced. It was finalized earlier this week. To be honest, when I realized it was finally over, I cried. But it wasn't a sad mourning cry like I had been doing when I first posted to Reddit. It was mainly out of relief. Relief that it was over, and relief that I could actually put everything all behind me. Some of you will be happy to know that I did take the alimony Leo offered. It's honestly not too much, but it'll help me maintain some extra expenses. To be honest, I think he mainly offered to appease his guilt after everything that happened. Whatever his reasons are, they're not my concern anymore. I do have a therapist now. She's wonderful and is helping me work through a lot of untangled childhood trauma that ended up having an effect on my marriage. Honestly, if it wasn't for my mom, I don't think I would have ever agreed to open marriage in the first place. A lot of people speculated that it was Leo that ruined my self-esteem, but it was always my mother. My therapist is helping me come to understand that my mom is, and probably always will, be a toxic individual. I'm trying to work on my boundaries and slowly limiting my contact with her. It's hard, but I'm trying. As for Leo, my therapist advised me to close the door on him. He originally wanted us to be friends, despite the progress I've made. He still has an effect on me. Many of his messages were him trying to persuade me to give him another chance, or him promising to be the husband I deserve. My therapist said I needed to be firm with my boundaries, and sometimes the best way to be firm is to draw a hard line. So I asked him not to contact me for a few months while I sorted myself out. So far, he's complied, for the most part. He still follows me on Instagram and we're still Facebook friends, but he never comments on any of my posts or messages me on my stories. Sometimes he'll like something, but that's the extent of our contact, which I can handle. I have also made sure to keep myself from checking up on him, per the advice of my therapist, because I don't want to obsess over him and the what-ifs. Even after everything, I don't hate him. I thought I needed to because everyone else seemed to for what he did. My therapist explained that it's easier to hate someone you don't know than someone you do. Because I have so many wonderful and cherished memories that I can't fully separate from the painful memories he left with me. So I don't hate him. I don't even think him to be a bad person. He's selfish and self-centered and he hurt me a lot, but he can also be funny and sweet and attentive. And that was why I fell in love with him in the first place. I'm still seeing Mark. I had tried telling him we should break up because of my weird headspace and I thought he deserved better. But he said he loved me and wanted to wait for me and promised to go at my pace for however long I needed. I want to believe him when he says that and I love being with him, so I'm cautiously optimistic about it all working out. We still don't live together and I kind of like it that way for now. I'm learning to become my own person again. Leo had been in my life for so long that I forgot what it was like to just be me, and not me and Leo. I even got a dog, which I always wanted but never got because Leo was allergic. His name is Iroh, and thanks to him, I don't feel lonely. This will probably be my last update. I really just wanted to say thank you all for your kind words and support on all my posts. It really meant a lot to me, so thank you and have a great new year. Top comments. Commenter 1. Congratulations and condolences seem oddly appropriate. You're embarking on a new phase in your life. It sounds like you're unpacking a lot and doing great at it. Wishing you a wonderful future in peace. Commenter 2. Your progress is amazing. Taking steps to limit contact with toxic people and focusing on therapy is so important. You deserve the happiness you're building. Commenter 3. Please update us one more time to let us know what happens with Mark. I hope he turns out to be as great as he seems. You definitely deserve someone great, and I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding that person, whether it's Mark or not. But I'm definitely rooting for you and Mark. New update. February 5th, 2026. 12.5 months later. Content warning for mentions of attempted suicide, verbal abuse, stalking, and struggles with mental health. My female 31, ex-husband, male 35, tried to commit suicide because of me. Now he wants to meet. How do I navigate this? I will try to keep this short. My ex-husband Leo and I got divorced last year in January. He wanted an open marriage, and I said yes because I was a doormat and a people pleaser. It all went downhill from there. I have not had any contact with him since, though he had attempted to reach out to me several times. Last month, I found out that he had been more or less stalking my social media nearly every day. He believed that because I hadn't blocked him on anything, it meant he still had a chance. I didn't want any misunderstandings, so I decided to block him. I didn't say anything or warn him, and I figured life would go on. It did not. His mother, 62 female, came to my place to scream at me and accuse me of driving him to suicide. She more or less said that blocking him drove him over the edge, and it would have been my fault if he died. It freaked me out so badly, and I was rattled nearly for 2 weeks. Leo had been placed on a 5150 and had gotten out of the ward a little while ago. I know this because I got a letter from him. He apologized for what his mother said and promised to pay for the damages. But then he asked if we could meet only one final time because he really wants to talk to me. I got confused as to why there were mentions of damages. I went to OP's account and found this, a post to r/justknowmother-in-law, pulling the excerpt from that post to explain the full interaction. My ex-mother-in-law came pounding on my door and screamed at me. It was terrifying. I've known this woman for many years and she's never acted like this before. For the longest time, she was the dream mother-in-law. She was so sweet and supportive, and she was like the mother I didn't have. That all changed when my ex and I decided to get a divorce. She continuously tried to manipulate me and kept pushing boundaries and make me forgive him. I eventually had to block her, and we haven't spoken since November of 2024. I honestly never imagined she would come storming to my house like she did. It terrified me, and it obviously freaked out my dogs who wouldn't stop barking. She almost broke down my door and threw rocks through my windows. The neighbors had quite the show. They ended up calling the police before I could because I was just frozen. She never tried to come into the house, but she called me every name under the sun and said it was my fault her son tried to kill himself. To sum it up, I'm supposedly the love of her son's life, and he can't live without me. If I had just forgiven him, then none of this would have happened. It's all my fault for being heartless, and she regrets ever letting me into her son's life. The police came and arrested her. She was still screaming obscenities, but she was also crying hysterically. She honestly looked like a madwoman. I'm still shaken by the whole thing. I spoke to my therapist about it because, while I know it's not my fault, a part of me still feels terrible, like I'm the one that pushed her and her son over the edge. It's not my responsibility, but I still feel like I somehow caused this. I looked up to this woman like a mother figure for nearly a decade. Then it just all went south when my ex and I split up. Those are the damages that were being spoken about. The damages he offered to pay for, following up with, asked if OP and him could meet one final time because he really wants to talk to OP. Maybe I'm still a doormat and a people pleaser. Maybe it's because he was in my life for 12 years. Maybe it's because I still feel a little guilty, even though I know what he did isn't my fault. But a part of me wants to meet. The other part of me wants to pretend I never saw the letter. I legitimately don't know what to do. I keep going back and forth. I did bring it up with my therapist once, and she just asked me if I genuinely believe there is any benefit to meeting. I don't think there is, but that doesn't erase the fact a part of me still wants to. But what would I even say? What does he want to say? I'm also a little anxious about somehow turning back into that fully committed people pleaser again, yet I also feel like there's a lot I want to say to him that I was too numb to say when we got divorced. I just Don't know. I keep going back and forth, and my own indecision infuriates me. Top comments. Commenter 1. Correction, your ex-husband tried to commit suicide because of himself. It has nothing to do with you except that you are his fixation. Don't interact with these people. Restraining orders are the way. There is no benefit to meeting. It's about emotional manipulation, whether purposeful or the nature of their personality. Life isn't a movie. There is no final time conclusion. There is moving on and living the rest of your life away from these people that bring nothing but pain to you. Commenter 2. Don't. Now is the time to just fully block him and move on before his internet stalking becomes real stalking, and he uses the super attempts to manipulate you back into his life. His mother coming to abuse you on top of it should be plenty of signs. With mentally unstable people, you have to give them nothing, no inch for them to stretch into a mile. Don't reply, block everything, give his family no space to add more stress to your life. Well, I wasn't expecting this one to be as long as it was when recording it, nor have an ending like that. There are 2 more best-ofs that are a bit on the shorter side that are at least frustratingly fun. Not really a palate cleanser, but something to at least get your mind off of this mess. As for OP, good luck, and I hope that this is the final update and you don't meet him. As tempting as it might be to get closure, the final comments are right. You can't give an inch or else they'll try to stretch that out into as much space and room as they can. This also, once again, kind of goes into what I was talking about, where the reason for the divorce should have been made more publicly known, because I wonder if the mother would have had this kind of reaction if she knew the divorce happened because her son wanted to open the marriage up for kinky sexual activities, and that's why the marriage fell apart. Not simply because OP didn't forgive him for something. There really wasn't anything to forgive him for either. They fell out of love because of his actions. What a mess. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is C Lavishness 7325, posted to r/mytheasshole February 3rd, 2026. Am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend childish for always buying Captain Crunch when he goes grocery shopping? He, 26 male, does this every time he comes back from the grocery store. He says because it's his favorite cereal, but why can't you just buy it once in a while? I, 27 female, just feel like he's too old to be at a grocery store buying a sugary cereal for himself every time. Maybe if he was shopping for children it would make sense, but we don't have kids. He's an adult. He's not overweight or anything, he's in shape, but I still think it's childish that he always has to buy Captain Crunch. When he came back from the grocery store yesterday, I asked him how it felt to be such a man-child. He was confused. I pointed out the Captain Crunch. He says that it's just cereal, that I'm overreacting over something that isn't that deep. I wouldn't care if it was once in a while, but every time. Do y'all understand where I'm coming from here? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole has no consensus but OP was unanimously the asshole. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Yes, you're the asshole. When you go grocery shopping, why do you always buy something that you like? Is it because you're childish? Or because you like eating foods that you like? OP responds, in my opinion, cereals like Captain Crunch, Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, Frosted Flakes, etc. are for children. Adults can eat them. I love having Frosted Flakes sometimes, but I don't need to buy it every time I'm at the grocery store. Commenter 2. You're the asshole. It's cereal. This is a large overreaction. He is literally in shape. Let him eat whatever he wants. OP responds, quote, this is a large overreaction, end quote. To be fair, I called him a man-child as a joke, but the joke didn't land for him. You didn't fucking communicate that in your post. You literally asked him how does it feel to be such a man-child and pointed to his cereal box. You didn't even tell us that it was a joke. You just fucking said that you did it. Commenter 3. What's the big deal? If he likes it and doesn't have health issues, let him get it. OP responds, like I said, he's in shape and pretty muscular, but is there anyone who's past college buying a sugary cereal every time they go grocery shopping? I'm not saying it's wrong to love Captain Crunch or any other sugary cereal. Frosted Flakes is probably one of my favorite things to eat, but I don't buy it every time I go grocery shopping. I never said he was wrong for loving the cereal. Commenter 4. You're the asshole. Holy shit. Release this poor man from your talons. What an absolute non-issue you're trying to create problems over. I bet you have dozens of examples where he does nothing wrong and you're just bored with your miserable life, so you make problems. OP responds, I feel like anybody who's been in a relationship with their partner for at least a year gets annoyed at them over the smallest things, but it's only a sign that you love them. If you have siblings, you would probably understand that their existence can get on your nerves. My little brother growing up. But you still love them because you have a love-hate relationship with your siblings. Love how that boils down to a commenter saying, hey, you're making a big deal out of such a non-issue. Nuh-uh. But if you dated anyone or had siblings, you would know that just because you love someone doesn't mean that you won't find the smallest things to be annoying. Commenter 5. Quote, adults can eat them. End quote. So, what is the problem here? It's clearly one of his favorite foods. Do you hate him or something? OP responds, how could you come to that conclusion when I chose to date him out of all the men out there and live with him on top of that? Update, February 3rd, 2026, same day, hours later. Update to am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend childish for always buying Captain Crunch when he goes grocery shopping? You guys were all dragging and harassing me in the comments, which was very uncalled for. But I apologized to him and told him he could buy as many Captain Crunch boxes as he wants and I won't judge him for it. Hopefully this satisfied everyone who was hating on me in the comments. I didn't expect people to be so angry at me, and I feel like I was extremely misunderstood in the comments. Y'all gotta remember that you guys don't know me IRL, and to judge my character over one situation isn't fair or accurate. But like I said, I apologized and admitted to him that I was wrong, and the two of us are good. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Dump your boyfriend. He deserves better than you. OP responds, what y'all don't know is that I love him and very happy where I'm at. You guys know nothing about us. Commenter 2. You also have to realize you're giving a snapshot of your life, and based on that snapshot and opinion, you're asking for people to give their opinions. So yeah, nobody knows you IRL, and based on how you described yourself, nobody really wants to. OP responds, I was called toxic, controlling, abusive, childish, and people want my boyfriend to dump me. Commenter 3. Correct, because you are. All over breakfast cereal. OP responds, I love how you guys are talking about everything, but the part where I said I apologized and told him he can get as much Captain Crunch as he wants. Commenter 4. Okay, but did you learn the lesson that controlling your partner's eating habits is literal abusive behavior? OP responds, he's a tall man with muscle. I'm short and a woman. Where am I abusive to him? I never forced him to return it. Plus, y'all keep ignoring the part where I said I apologized. You suck. Damn, how gracious of you that after you called your boyfriend a man-child because he enjoys eating Captain Crunch, God forbid, you were gracious enough to apologize and tell him he could get as much as he wants after you jokingly insulted him. It's also extremely telling that you were just so dead set that you weren't in the wrong, and everyone saying that you were the asshole was clearly wrong and just being toxic for no reason. After all, they don't know you at all. They're only going off of the impression that you gave of yourself, that you're a toxic and controlling and manipulative partner. Also, PSA in case you needed to hear it for the first time or from me, yes, women, despite being shorter than their boyfriends, can in fact be abusive. Abuse does not have to be physical, it comes in hundreds of thousands of different flavors, all of which can be equally as damaging and definitely harmful. And again, whether it's stuffed animals, your bionicles, your action figures, or your boxes of Frosted Flakes, never date someone who you feel you have to hide your stuffed animals from. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Don't Steal My Passport, posted to r/amItheasshole April 10th, 2022. Am I the asshole for ransacking my boyfriend's apartment? I, female 25, have been with my boyfriend Jake, male 34, for 8 months. Things were fine until I, against my better judgment, moved into his place a couple months ago. Since then, he's been getting kind of possessive and protective. I immediately told him to cut that shit out because it's off-putting, and things seem to get better. Anyway, I have a friend in Mexico who's getting married. I've been excited to fly down for her wedding since she told me she was engaged a year ago. However, Jake has made it clear that he doesn't want me to go. He says Mexico is too dangerous, even though I've been there many times and even lived there for a year, speak Spanish, have friends there, and know my way around. No matter what I say, he doesn't want me to go. Then, a couple of days ago, my passport went missing from my nightstand. I'm supposed to go tomorrow, so I wouldn't have time to get a new one. I looked everywhere. No luck. When I asked Jake about it, he behaved a little suspiciously, but I dismissed it because I couldn't believe he would actually take my passport to keep me from going. But he's been giving me some red flags, so I decided to have a thorough look around. When he went out this morning, I started going through everything. As I searched, I became increasingly certain that he took my passport. I started off carefully picking through drawers and cabinets, but as my anger grew, I became a lot less careful. I started turning out drawers, pried open a briefcase, made a total mess. But I found it. It was behind some books in the bookcase in his study. I never go into his study. He definitely put it there. Now he's furious with me for going through his things and ransacking his place. He said he would have given me my passport back, but there was no need for me to go crazy. I'm just angry that he took it to begin with, and I don't believe him when he says he was going to give it back. This is only my third serious relationship, and I have no perspective on this kind of thing. Am I the asshole for overreacting and ransacking my ex-boyfriend's place? Verdict: not the asshole. Relevant comments from Agreeable Space 2759. Yet, not the asshole. His behavior is controlling and unacceptable. Your passport is not a small thing, and you should be able to trust that important belongings are safe in your home. Please seriously consider ending this relationship. He is showing you what your future will be like with him. User Ikadegity comments, if he'll take your passport to keep you from going to Mexico, he'll take your driver's license to keep you from leaving him. User Bougainville A25 comments, no idea if I got that right, not the asshole. Even if you're in a relationship, the partner never has the right to do these kinds of things to you. He stole your property, he lied about it, and then he victimized. No, girl, you leave him. This is not how relationships work. We all have our fair shares of arguments during a lifetime, but this is crossing the personal boundaries and also illegal. OP updated the post the same day. Edit, thanks for all the replies. I guess I was still in a weird state of disbelief that he did that, and it made me question everything. Now that I've stopped shaking and have had the time to think, talk to my mom, and to read through these replies, I kinda feel silly for even wondering if I did something wrong. Suffice to say, it's over for good. I've blocked him on everything, and my dad and brother are over there getting what's left of my stuff. I'm going to try to put it out of my mind and focus on my awesome trip. Final comments. Capable Voice 5479. Yeah, not the asshole. Move out immediately and don't move back. This is the start of an abusive relationship. He's starting lightly with the controlling so that you'll get used to it. That you'll even question that you're the asshole for looking for your passport that he stole means that he's already succeeding. For your future safety, run. You're not in so deep that you can't get out. OP responds, thank you. I'm at my parents' house now, and my dad told me the exact same thing. It's good to hear it from other people. User Write Your Own Ending comments, yeah, not the asshole. Run now. Don't go back to his apartment. In fact, stay in Mexico till you have somewhere else to stay. I understand you're unsure, so here's your validation. He's controlling. It's happening fast and will not stop. Stealing your passport? He would not have given it back. Is highly illegal, immoral, dangerous behavior. Now he's gaslighting you, saying you were crazy after you caught him stealing your passport. Do not stay with this man. OP responds, thank you. I needed to hear this. I've enlisted the help of my family and I'm out. I'm honestly a little afraid to see him again, but I'm ending it for good anyway. Yeah, OP, you dodged a fucking bullet with this one. Good God. As a general note to just the audience, if you ever find yourself in a relationship where you feel as though your partner is trying to control your travel, that's not good. If they're actively taking your IDs, your passports, or any means that you might have, including your keys, to go somewhere that you're looking forward to, or to go somewhere without their permission, that goes beyond red flag behavior and that enters into black flag behavior, and you gotta get out of that. It's incredibly dangerous, incredibly controlling, and yes, abusive. Thank God OP got out of that. And ironically for Jake, Mexico is a far safer place than any kind of relationship that you'll be involved in. You freak. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Press and Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.